Welcome to episode 3 of Talking Over Interior. This is my channel, who I'm designed to be. And today's episode, we are going to be talking about doing what you love, and the rest will follow. Now, there's layers to that, and I'll get to it. But first, if you notice, I have a gallery wall. I hate gallery walls. Let's start there. Um, in my last home in Philly, I literally tried everything I possibly could to stay away from creating some sort of gallery wall. And I guess hate is a strong word. Let me be a little bit more specific. I don't like a traditional gallery wall. The picture perfect gallery wall, where every single frame looks the same size, same kind of frame, same distance apart. And that's great. It works for some spaces. It's not my personal style. Again, I said my personal style is very eclectic. Um, so I decided, what was I even going to do with all the pictures and the frames that I had and I showed you guys in the last episode. If you didn't watch last episode, go back, because you saw me unpacking a lot of my decor and my belongings and things that I'm probably going to use to style the space. And most of my bedroom wall, I have plans for my bedroom wall, let's just say. My son has all of his frames. How much can you really do with the bathroom? I don't really have any plans for the hallway. The last place I shot, which was the entry dining space last episode, as you can see, I plan to wallpaper that space, but also it's filled with beautiful wood frames. So I can't really add pictures there, and they're not even going to fit. So one thing I've definitely been telling myself is working with what I have. When I started this, I really didn't have any idea of how I would start this series, but the idea is I was going to start. And some of the key reasons why I think I never started this was I wanted everything to be perfect. I wanted the place to be done. I wanted to have all the materials that I needed. And I wasn't going to do that this time, basically. The plan was, this is what I have to work with. I'm going to give you guys what I have to work with, and eventually the rest will follow. If you're catching my drift. So I have white walls. Number one, I'm renting. I don't own this place. I haven't even been here 6 months. I'm not going to start putting paint on the wall, even though I am dying to put paint on these walls. I'm going to show you guys a picture of my last workspace here in the corner, and painted it blue. It was dark, just like me, and now I'm working with white walls. And again, white walls are not my favorite thing, but the theme here is we are working with what we have. I have white walls and I have a lot of frames, and I don't have that much wall space to work with. I have plans for the walls, that side, south, no, actually west side. Another thing you guys should really do is try to take a look at the North Star, which we added in the last episode. I'm going to add a link to this video. The North Star basically tells you different directions of the house. So this entire wall right now is the east wall. Last episode I shot facing, I believe, the north. So when you're looking at the mood board and you're looking at the North Star, I basically go to those photos and go to these images and get inspirations for how I want to design the space. So as you take a look at the North Star, you get an idea of, okay, those are her inspirations for that direction of the home. So just an FYI. So white walls, a lot of frames. This is what I have to work with. So I decided, you know what? We're going to play around with the gallery wall. This is what I've come up with so far. We're going to change. We don't know if we're going to stay here, but this is what we decided to come up with. This is definitely a filler. I got this from Home Goods. I have some tie to Paris that I can't figure out sometimes, but I love, I definitely want to visit the Louvre. So it's here. This oil painting, I just always loved it. It was in my kitchen, my last home. So I like that. This was also in my kitchen. I thought it was a nice pair. Again, these are not matching frames, and I think I like the randomness of a gallery wall versus the perfection of a gallery wall. Um, Something else, let's see. I have my uh, Frida, some of the architectural pieces. I have these beautiful sketches of beautiful Black women. And I also have these two mirrors that I had living in my bedroom in Philadelphia. If you look very closely, there are beautiful detailing coming also from some part of whether it's Korea or Japan, but again, pulling from the Asian culture, which I said is really a lot of my style. I wanted a mirror in this space, something that maybe when I'm walking out of the door, I can actually check myself out. I'm most likely going to bring them closer, but that's what we have so far. Now, something else I thought was pretty cool. Well, something else. I hate when we have a thermostat in the middle of the wall and it's just dead there. I think builders, investors should really think about where they actually put the thermostat. That's why you should sometimes hire a designer, because we think about all of those things. But they didn't think about it here. So I had to be creative. So I have this box frame, and I thought it would be cool to box. And it's going to drop a little bit, but there we go. I think we're straight. And it boxed the thermostat. So it's part of the gallery wall, which I really liked. I also have my mask here, and I think it framed this out pretty nicely. There's a chance I'm going to interchange some of these photos. There's a chance I'm going to completely change this wall. The point about talking over interiors is we're talking over how we go about designing the space. Literally, if the camera wasn't here right now, this is how I would kind of brainstorm how I want to go about. Is this going to stay? Do I like it? Am I going to live with it for the next maybe a month or two and see if it works for the space? If it doesn't, we'll change it and move to the next thing. But for now, this is the gallery wall that we came up with, and I'm not mad at it. I think it's eclectic enough for me. It's not too busy, but is in a way. And like I said, if I want to add more color, I will. But this is what we came up with, and I think we're looking good. What do you think? Tell me at the bottom of the comment. So, like I told you guys, we are at the east facing wall. East facing wall also shares the southeast, which is basically what I'm going to call my workstation when I want to work in this space. Sometimes my kid is asleep and I want to open up my laptop, but I don't want to go into the bedroom. I can go into that space. So I've been playing with flower arrangement since the year started, just because why not? It's beautiful. But every time I do it, I fall in love with what I'm doing a little bit more. So I'm creating a bouquet for this area, which is going to be that little work area that I told you guys about. Where am I missing something here? And these are just some tulips, some pink roses, and another flower that I don't know, I'm not a plant girl, not a flower girl either, but we are going to learn our flowers. I think we should start doing that. So yeah, what do you think? Trader Joe's, sponsor your girl, because these are all of your beautiful bouquets. All right. Okay, so we've taken you from the gallery wall. We're still on the east wall. I love to get creative, and I thought what would be a great way to include this beautiful frame, because it's technically part of the gallery wall. Back there is my kitchen. What I wanted to do is actually have curtains that was my print. My print as in one of my designs from Mayorg. But I didn't have a time to actually get the panels ready for you guys. So got creative, and I think the chartreuse works for now. It pulls in from this pillow, which is my Susu pillow for my faded print. Also, by the way, guys, we do silk scarf also. This is my Black Barbie silk scarf. And yeah, so those are the same print, but just worn different ways, some for homes and some for apparel or just accessories. So anyways, eventually this is going to be a print, which I think it's going to basically be a framed print, a part of the gallery wall. For now, this is what we have, and I think it works for the space. And we're going to move on to the workspace. So I had this in my bedroom. I've had this for years. I'm not really sure how many years, but I think, again, the Asian inspired culture and theme pulling out, literally, it oozes out of me. There's a chance maybe in one of my past lives, maybe. But anyways, I would love to visit Japan, and I think that's going to be an amazing trip. I love the detail of this. It started to peel, and for some reason, I like it. I don't want to make it perfect. I like the peel look. I like the red coming out. Most likely, that was the original color from before. But I really like this, and one of the reasons that I usually always kept it around is because of how small in depth it is. So this is probably around no more than 14 inches deep. And you always want to keep those pieces that are sometimes those unique size and shapes, because it always finds its way working into your home in the perfect way. I couldn't do something like a huge desk here because, again, this is not an office space. This is just a tiny little corner that one day on some days that I would want to do some work. So I think it worked perfectly here. And I think maybe we should start styling this little corner. So again, on the mood board or the North Star, this is the southeast corner. Now in Feng Shui, the southeast corner brings ka-ching. It brings money, prosperity. So just an FYI, sometimes if you go to the southeast corner of your home, if that's your workspace, maybe that's some good luck, or it's just a good luck to bring some money. So anyways, if it's going to be a workspace, I'm most likely going to need something to sit on. And I thought, what better way to kind of tie in this little stool that came from Philadelphia also. I love these things. I just love the shape. I love the color. I think it also ties in. So yeah, this also can serve as almost like an end table or an ottoman in the living space. So it's interchangeable. Everything in the home is going to be interchangeable, guys. That's how I work with what I have in a small space. So styling this, we need some books. If you want to style a console table, I have this John Yoko Ono book, and I think it's pretty good. And I have Life in a French Country House. Again, that French theme, that country theme kind of showing up. And then also Jean-Marc Baxiac. And I think this may look good right here. Okay. Floral books. What else do we have? I have my journals. I told you guys I write a lot. Not that I'm a writer, it's just I'm a planner, I'm a dreamer, I'm a manifester, and how I use that is by writing. So these are some prized journals of mine. I think they're very beautiful, and I want to display them. Why not? So it's right here, and obviously, guys, when this needs to be a workspace, it's going to be a workspace where I just pop a laptop on there and like push this to the side. But when it's not a workspace, it's in the living space, and we want it to look nice. So yeah. Now, the walls. I have plans to put some wall sconces right above this wall on the opposite end also. I haven't found the perfect wall sconce. I also have some mask maybe, but kind of get an idea of if something's right here, that's going to be most likely a wall sconce. But I thought this space would be perfect for my Angry Bar image. And until we find a wall sconce and until we find maybe other pieces to go on the wall, I think this is just where it's going to, I don't know, live. I got my trusty drill. And I don't really measure things. I just eye things. We're going to eye this. We're going to hope it looks good after we eye it. And I think I'm just going to do that smack in the middle. That's just what we're going to do. It may not even be the actual middle, but that's what we're going to do. All right. All right. Make sure you're using drywall screws when you're doing this. You don't want to damage your wall. What are we? Are we straight? You guys tell me. Straight? All right. All right, so what do you think? This is the look so far. All right. Please be more prepared with the right tools. And what do we think? A coaster from my brand also. This is my papaya print. If I want to maybe grab a glass of wine, which I think I'm going to do while we have this little talk that I've been meaning to have with you guys. Okay? So, I named this episode Doing What You Love and the Rest Will Follow because that is the current phase, I believe, or just what I'm currently experiencing in life. And let me explain. So if you watched the first episode, you know that I basically picked up and moved from the East Coast, Philadelphia to be specific, to Chicago. Now, I had no idea really what that would completely look like. Why? Because again, I was leaving basically operating the business, and I had clients, and now I also hadn't really worked for others in this specific way in a very long time. So a lot of it was new for me, or just different. Um, I was used to waking up when I wanted, making my meetings and scheduling all of that. And when you have the freedom as an entrepreneur, and then you decide to get back in the workforce and look for a specific job, you know that you are kind of giving up something. Um, Possibly some freedom. It could be anything. It could be freedom. It could be money. It could be creative freedom. Anything. So I knew that I was making a change, and I knew it had to be a sacrifice. So doing what you love also requires sacrifice. I don't want people to think that, hey, just go ahead, think about this dream, do it, don't work hard, and everything's going to come your way. No. Doing what you love and the rest will follow. The reason why the things are following is because you are actually working hard and um, doing things that make sense for where you want to be. When I left school, um, interior design, I've never really been a person who said, hey, tell me where to go and I'll go. No, I am the type of person. I think I've always been a go-getter, which is why I said I was born with an entrepreneur mindset. Um, I immediately went on different platforms. Even Craigslist was one of them, where I was looking for people who wanted to design their home. Do you need an interior designer? Here I am, in Jersey, in Philadelphia, and I found this ad for an internship, a design internship. And funny enough, it was a new design firm with a woman who uh, left Harvard Business School and said her passion was interior design, and she was going to start this company. Um, and I was there as her intern, and we were starting it. And she is to this day my mentor, for so many reasons. Really, who actually taught me the ethic of hard work. Turkish. Um, and I was with her for a couple of years. I worked my way up from intern to staging coordinator to junior design. And eventually it was like, okay, I love you, you love me. Is this a forever thing? I'm not sure. So we said, okay, we don't know yet. Let's go. Let me find out let me get other experiences first. This just can't be it. After her, I worked at another design firm, which was kind of like a design built company currently in Philadelphia. And then I started working as a designer for a merchandising company, which actually Lazy Boy. So Lazy Boy, years back, I'm not actually sure if they still do this, but they had an in-home design program where they would have interior designer go out to their customer's home, do sketches, different swatch and pick furniture that you actually want your space to look like. And all of them was Lazy Boy furniture. When I was interviewing for that job, what I literally told them was my dream is to be in New York. Closed mouth don't get fed. And I think that's going to be another key part of this series and another episode I talk about. If you want something, you have to tell people what you want, because you have no idea who's listening and who's going to remember that. So I started working at Lazy Boy. I was the designer there for maybe about a year. And then one day I get a call. I think it was like maybe fall sometime. She said, and this was the general manager at the time, someone told me that you really want to be in New York. I said, yeah. She said, well, we have a position for a lead designer open up for you. Do you want the position? We think you would be great for it. Immediately, yes. I'm a designer. I wanted to be in New York. Why would I say no? So literally, I picked up everything and moved to New York probably within, I had 30 days to find a place or something like that. And it kind of just happened. And that was me chasing things that I wanted and it coming my way and working hard and speaking it into existence and working hard and, just following the opportunities. Now, while I was in New York, I got another call. And funny enough, I told you I would be, on different platforms online looking for people who wanted to design their home. And I had designed a home for a couple, an Indian couple who was very young. One of their first apartment, they had gotten married. Her husband was just starting a real estate company, a real estate development company. Um, and, she was in corporate also. And I designed one of their first spaces. Fast forward years later, I'm now in New York and they called me. His company, has grown as a, as at least I would say grown very, very good, where he was very successful. And they said, we just bought our dream home in Philadelphia. They're a big fan of Philly and we want you to design it. How are you going to do this if you're living in New York? I said, I'll figure it out. So I would work 5 days a week in New York, drive down to Philadelphia over the weekend, and design this. I think it was a 4 bedroom home, and it was my biggest independent project that I got on my own just by networking and also um, finding people who wanted a designer to design their space. So, can you imagine working Monday to Friday and then also working and driving um, on the turnpike to work again? Matter of fact, I used to live on that turnpike. I've had car accidents and terrible experiences on that turnpike. But in a way, I was doing something that I loved and I was chasing after a life that I wanted for myself, career wise. Um, Working with that company, working with that couple, um, when I would design their space, sometimes I would have dinner with them. My mom lived in South Jersey at the time, so if I didn't want to go back to New York immediately, I would stay a little bit longer. We got to know each other. And they got to know a lot more about also what I wanted. They got to know more about my skills, whether that was project management and construction. And he said he needed help. Um, and again, I am a seize the opportunity, guys. Sometimes you don't know when an opportunity is right in front of your face, but I know. And I started working in house, helping him with his rental properties, but also his investment properties. And at some point, I started basically being the project manager for his investment properties. And then we realized that we needed more contractors. Ding, 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 ding. Again, seize the opportunity. I am very good at connecting people, and I decided that it would be great to start a construction management company. I had a lot of connections who were contractors. My dad was an architect. I knew a lot of builders. Why not? I've never ran a construction management company before, but I knew I had the tools and I had the confidence to do it. So I did it. I started, and I already had technically my first clients who can trust me, and I've shown um, my level of skill sets to him to give me that chance. So we did it, and honestly, guys, from the working with Lazy Boy and then just designing this couple home, I didn't really think that I would start a company just out of that situation, but I did. A company that I've never really dealt with before, but construction was kind of like a new beast for me. um, Sometimes people ask me, what do you love more, construction or design? Definitely design, but construction is more money. um, my first Our first year in that company, I revenue over $500,000. I was 24 years old. That was just from me chasing a dream and what I wanted to do. So I did that with my dad for a bit. I would still design. I opened different branches as far as there was home staging, there was interior design, but then there was also construction management. So to this day, I still work with that company. They are still my number one investor as far as in on the Philadelphia side. But as I grew, I became a mother. I became a mom when I was 26. Things also started to change. I had new skill set. I was a little bit slower. I wasn't that much of a go-getter as I was. And it kind of pushed me in different direction also. Some things I started working a little bit more in-house with other investment company as far as they would just come to me for all of their home staging, but also investors wanted multi-unit design already packaged. So I would package different design and give it to their contractor. There's multiple different ways and different streams of income. So imagine doing that for a couple of years. Oh, and then also in that midst, 2 years ago, the mentor, Gia, one of my first boss that I told you about, she wanted to open a coffee house. When we were working and building her business, our office was coffee shops. I mean, we were around when Starbucks became, very popular in the South Jersey side, and we worked out of almost every single Starbucks, and we found a love for coffee culture. So when she wanted to start a coffee house, she called on me, and we kind of partnered up, and I did a lot of designs with her. I did a lot of the branding. It was also a co-working building. And we basically built a community. And again, this coffee house is French Press in Morristown. Beautiful space. And that is when I also discovered my dream for building communities. Didn't know where also I would take that. But the year ended, and I said, okay, it's time for me to leave East Coast, but also specifically Philadelphia. And like I said, New York wasn't an option for me. And leaving that coffee house or just that entire experience in that community was probably the worst part about leaving the East Coast. But looking for a job in Chicago, like I said, I didn't really know what would come. I was looking for things in the interior design side, but mostly project management and construction side. Um, and I found a job, like I said, as their real estate and construction manager. Again, I'm thinking I'm about to move to a new city. Let's work at this job, do your best, but also start building your clientele because I think I still want to continue design. And as I build my clientele, it's just going to be a little bit change, making sacrifice. Because, like I said, if you really want to build the life that you want, you're going to make sacrifices, whether that's for a short time or a long time. Sometimes you have to work with what you have until you have what you really want. Example, this gallery wall and this white walls. I don't want to be living in this white wall. I probably wouldn't have designed it initially with the white wall. But again, I had to start this series and I had to work with what I have. And I am working with these white walls and I'm working with this gallery space until I am able to do something else that I really want to do. Within 6 months' time of working at that position, I did a project that was so big and brought in something so amazing. I was immediately promoted to operating director because they also saw in my background that I have operated two companies before. Did I see that coming in this trajectory of this move? Absolutely not. I think sometimes I still, when I'm saying my prayer, it still feels like I'm living in some sort of simulations because there are so many things that I envisioned when I was living in Chicago that is so different right now. Personal things like uh, almost like not at all what I envisioned, but so much better than what I envisioned. And the crazy thing is, I am doing every single thing that I've done in the past, but at a grander scale. A month ago, I put together a proposal for a coffee house. how does that even happen? Where I leave one state and say, I really love this, but this is not the community for me, and come to another space, and I now have the opportunity to create that same thing in the community that I want to create it in. I'm working on projects that I never thought I would be working on at this stage with this move. And all of it is because I was chasing the things that I loved. I didn't know what would really come about, but hard work and also just seizing the opportunity. And like I said, closed mouth don't get fed. Tell people what you are capable of. Tell people what you are interested in. Tell people what you love. Tell people what you want to do. Work hard towards that. And I, I, I want to confidently say that what you want is actually going to follow, because I'm living in it. I don't know what's going to come in the next 2 years, the next 5 years, but I truly believe if I keep working towards the things that I love, every single thing I want, I am going to achieve. And I think it's definitely possible for you too. So, yeah, I think that's about it. I know that was a lot, but thank you for coming to episode 3. If you've watched episode 1 and 2, I really, really appreciate you. And I'm really having so much fun with this. And I'll see you next month, episode 4. And like I said, we usually launch on the last Friday of every month. Thank you guys.